This video did not exist in your universe until the exact moment you directed your attention toward it. Pause and truly think about that. Out of millions of choices, your consciousness navigated to this exact message at this exact moment in your life. Why? Because you are ready. You are watching this because you are standing at the edge of a massive dimensional leap, but something heavy is pulling you back. Today we are going deep into the mechanics of the observer effect and the quantum field. I promise you, by the time the screen fades to black at the end of this transmission, you will completely understand your true, terrifying, and beautiful power as the absolute creator of your reality. But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like you are doing everything right, meditating, visualizing, working hard, yet you keep repeating the same cycles, meeting the same toxic people in different bodies, and fighting the same invisible walls? If so, listen closely. The lock is in your mind, and the key is a word you have misunderstood your entire life. To understand what is happening to you, we must first step outside the illusions of the physical world and look at the metaphysical truth of the quantum field. In esoteric quantum mechanics, the universe is not made of solid, unchangeable matter. It is an infinite ocean of vibrating energy, a field of pure, unlimited potential known as the wave of probability. Every possible version of your life, past, present, and future, exists right now in this invisible field as dormant energy. It only becomes solid reality when a conscious observer looks at it. Observation is not a passive act of simply seeing what is there with your eyes. Observation is a highly active, creative process. Your thoughts, your deeply held beliefs, and your intense emotional signatures act as the invisible laser beam that collapses that wave of potential into physical particles. You are not a victim of reality. You are the projector of it. But what happens when the projector is jammed with old, corrupted film? What happens when your observation is trapped in the past? Let us begin by breaking down the greatest illusion you have ever been taught, the illusion of linear time. You have been told that the past is behind you, completely gone, and that the future is ahead of you, waiting to be written. But in the realm of quantum physics and the unified field, this is simply not true. Everything is happening right now, in this eternal, ever-present moment. When you hold a deep grudge against someone who wronged you, you are not just having a bad memory. You are actively keeping a specific, low-frequency timeline alive. Resentment is not merely a psychological state. It is a rigid, mathematical coordinate within the quantum field. Every time you replay that betrayal in your mind, every time you feel that familiar knot of anger in your stomach, you are acting as the observer. You are collapsing the wave of infinite possibilities into the exact same painful particle of reality. You are literally dragging a dead past into your living present, forcing your future to look exactly like your history. Your consciousness becomes a heavy iron anchor hooked deeply into a reality where you are a powerless victim. And as long as your attention is anchored there, you cannot sail into the new, vibrant reality you are trying to manifest. The universe only gives you what you are, and right now, if you hold a grudge, you are a localized frequency of unresolved pain. It is time to pull up that anchor. You must understand that the quantum field does not judge your thoughts as good or bad, positive or negative. It is entirely impersonal and operates strictly on the law of resonance. It simply matches the frequency of your dominant state of being. When you harbor hatred, anger, or deep disappointment toward someone, you are constantly broadcasting a signal into the ether. This signal says, "I am wronged, I am hurt, the world is unsafe." Because the field is a perfect mirror, it must mathematically organize people, circumstances, and events to reflect that exact frequency back to you. Have you noticed how people who are deeply bitter about one betrayal seem to attract constant betrayals in other areas of their lives? They lose money, they get sick. They meet new partners who treat them exactly like the old ones. This is the observer effect in ruthless action. Your relentless focus on the person who hurt you is commanding the quantum field to replicate the essence of that hurt in your current environment. You are utilizing your divine power of manifestation to curse your own life. By refusing to let go, you are not punishing them. You are trapping yourself in a holographic prison of your own making, repeating the same timeline on an endless, exhausting loop. This brings us to a radical redefinition of the concept of forgiveness. Society has taught you that forgiveness is a moral obligation, a weakness, or a way to excuse the terrible behavior of others. Society tells you that if you forgive, you are letting the other person win. But in the realm of metaphysics, forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with morality, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. Forgiveness is a highly advanced quantum technology. It is the conscious, deliberate act of decoupling your energy from an obsolete timeline. When you forgive, you are not saying that what happened was okay. You are saying, I refuse to invest another drop of my life force into a dead reality. Think of your attention as the most valuable currency in the universe. Every time you obsess over the grudge, you are paying for that old timeline to stay active. Forgiveness is cutting the funding. It is withdrawing your energetic investments from the past so that you have the capital to build a new future. It is a mathematical equation where you choose to zero out the emotional charge, neutralizing the bond between your consciousness and the event. Let us examine the physical mechanism of this trap. Your body is not just a biological machine, it is the physical manifestation of your subconscious mind. When an emotional trauma occurs, and you do not release it, that energy does not just vanish into thin air. It gets stored in the cellular memory of your physical vessel. The anger, the desire for revenge, the deep sorrow. These create a cocktail of highly addictive stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, your body becomes chemically addicted to the familiar feeling of the grudge. This is why it feels so strangely satisfying to sit alone and imagine winning an argument against your enemy. Your brain is giving your body the chemical hit of stress it craves, but the quantum field is reading your body's magnetic signature, not your conscious wishes. You can stand in front of a mirror and recite positive affirmations all day long. You can say, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free. But if your body is secretly vibrating with the low, heavy frequency of a 5-year-old resentment, the field will ignore your words and respond to your body. To shift your timeline, you must break the chemical addiction to your own suffering. You must teach your body how to feel safe in the absence of that familiar pain. There is a profound concept in quantum mechanics known as quantum entanglement. It states that once two particles are deeply connected, they remain connected across vast distances. What happens to one instantly affects the other, regardless of space or time. The same principle applies to your consciousness. When you engage in intense emotional conflict with someone, you become quantumly entangled with them. Your energy fields merge and tangle into a messy knot of resentment. As long as you hold the grudge, you remain energetically chained to the person who hurt you. You are sharing a timeline with them. Even if you haven't spoken to them in 10 years, even if they live on the other side of the planet, your vital energy is leaking across the invisible field directly into their reality. You are unknowingly giving them your power. Do you really want the person who betrayed you to have access to your spiritual battery? Because that is exactly what a grudge does. The only way to sever this invisible, draining cord is through the frequency of true, profound neutrality. When you drop the emotional charge, the entanglement collapses. You reclaim your energy, and they instantly disappear from your quantum radar. You become completely invisible to their frequency. Imagine the universe as an infinite radio dial. Right now, you are tuned into a specific station. Let's call it the victim reality station. On this station, the music is sad, the news is bad, and the people are untrustworthy. You are desperately trying to hear the abundance and joy station, but you refuse to turn the dial because you are too busy being angry at the DJ of the current station. This is what holding a grudge does. It freezes your frequency dial. In the quantum multiverse, there is a parallel version of you existing right this very second. This version of you is completely healed, radiantly happy, wealthy, and surrounded by profound love. That reality is not a distant dream. It is a parallel broadcast happening right now in the unified field. But to tune into that reality, you must match its frequency. The version of you living your dream life is not sitting around bitterly complaining about what someone did to them 5 years ago. They have let it go. Therefore, to become that version of yourself, you must adopt their state of consciousness right now. You cannot take the heavy baggage of resentment through the narrow gateway of a new dimension. You must drop the bags at the door if you want to enter. Many people ask, but how do I just let it go? The pain is too deep. The mistake is trying to forgive using the logical, analytical mind. The ego mind loves the grudge because the grudge gives it an identity. The ego thrives on separation, on being right, on being the innocent party who was wronged. If you try to force forgiveness from the level of the ego, you will only create more internal conflict and frustration. True letting go is not an action you take, it is a surrender you allow. It is a profound realization that the story playing in your head is a ghost, an illusion with no actual substance in the present moment. The next time the memory of the betrayal arises, do not fight it, but do not feed it either. Become the silent observer. Watch the thoughts as if they are clouds passing in the sky. Watch the physical sensation in your body without labeling it. When you observe the pain without identifying with it, you withdraw your conscious life force from it. Without your active participation, the emotional charge begins to starve. The wave function of that trauma collapses into nothingness. You dissolve the old timeline not by fighting it, but by utterly refusing to participate in it any longer. As you begin to master this quantum detachment, you will encounter the phenomenon of the void. When you finally drop a grudge that you have carried for years, there is often a sudden feeling of emptiness. A massive amount of energetic space has suddenly opened up within your consciousness. For a moment, it might feel terrifying. The ego will panic because the familiar weight of the pain is gone, leaving a blank canvas. Do not rush to fill this space with new anxieties or old habits. This void is the holy grail of manifestation. It is the space of pure, unconditioned potentiality. In quantum physics, the vacuum is not empty. It is teeming with infinite energy waiting to be structured by thought. When you have successfully forgiven and cleared your field, you have created the perfect vacuum. This is the exact moment when you must consciously plant the seeds of your new reality. Now, when you visualize your perfect health, your deep wealth, or your ultimate freedom, there is no static interference. There is no contradictory signal telling the universe that you are secretly broken. Your manifestation signal becomes pure, concentrated, and incredibly powerful. This is how miracles are engineered. Let us talk about the heart and the brain, the two most powerful electromagnetic generators in your body. Your brain is electrical. It sends out the signal of your thoughts into the quantum field. But your heart is magnetic. It draws the events, people, and synchronicities back to you to match that thought. Science has proven that the heart's magnetic field is thousands of times stronger than the brain's. When you hold a grudge, you literally build an energetic wall around your heart center. You close off your magnetic receptor. You can think all the positive, wealth-generating thoughts you want with your brain. But if your heart is closed off by the heavy armor of resentment, you cannot magnetize those desires into your physical experience. You are sending an email with no internet connection. Forgiveness is the act of shattering that armor. It blasts open the heart chakra, restoring the natural, powerful magnetic flow of your being. When the brain and the heart are in coherence, when your clear thoughts of a new future align with the open, joyful energy of a liberated heart, you become an unstoppable force of nature. Reality has no choice but to bend to your coherent frequency. Once you make the internal shift and truly forgive, the external world must rearrange itself to reflect your new state. This is where the magic of synchronicity comes into play. Synchronicity is not coincidence. It is the quantum field providing direct feedback that your frequency has changed. You will start to notice bizarre, highly specific alignments. You might randomly bump into someone who offers you the exact opportunity you have been dreaming of. Money might manifest from completely unexpected sources. The physical ailments, the mysterious aches and pains that you carried for years, might suddenly vanish overnight because the trapped emotional energy causing them has been released. You will look back at the people who hurt you, and instead of feeling a burning rage, you will feel an ocean of neutrality, or perhaps even a strange sense of gratitude. Why gratitude? Because from the higher perspective of the soul, you will realize that they played the perfect villain in the movie of your life, pushing you so deep into the dark that you had no choice but to discover your own brilliant light. They were the catalyst for your quantum awakening. When you can see the divine perfection in the betrayal, the timeline jump is complete. But what about the ultimate illusion, the illusion of separation? In the unified quantum field, there is no other. Everything is connected. The screen you are looking at, the chair you are sitting on, the stars in the sky, and the person who betrayed you are all temporary expressions of the exact same underlying energy. You are all drops in the exact same infinite ocean of consciousness. When you hate someone else, you are literally hating a fragmented aspect of yourself. You are attacking your own energy field. The person who hurt you was acting out of their own deep unconsciousness, their own painful programming. They were trapped in a low-frequency nightmare, lashing out blindly. When you realize that their actions were a reflection of their own internal hell and had nothing to do with your true worth, the grudge begins to look ridiculous. How can you be angry at a sleepwalker for bumping into you in the night? True quantum forgiveness is waking up from the dream of separation. It is realizing that in forgiving the other, you are profoundly and completely forgiving yourself. You are healing a tear in the fabric of your own universe. You are making yourself whole again. You must realize that every time you tell the story of your victimization, you are casting a dark spell on your own life. Words are incredibly powerful acoustic commands to the quantum field. When you sit with friends and complain about how you were wronged, when you post passive-aggressive messages, when you rehearse the argument in the shower, you are verbally programming the matrix to keep you trapped. You are instructing the observer effect to solidify the pain. To jump to the new timeline, you must enforce a strict, unwavering embargo on the old story. You must stop speaking about it. You must let the story die of neglect. If someone brings it up, you simply smile and say, "That is no longer a part of my reality." At first, your ego will scream. It will desperately want to defend itself, to prove that it was right, to gain sympathy from others. But you must be ruthless with your attention. Treat your focus like a multi-billion-dollar asset. Do not spend a single cent of it on the past. By starving the old narrative of your precious attention, the neural pathways in your brain will literally wither and die, and the quantum cord to that reality will completely dissolve. Consider the profound difference between a creator and a reactor. Most of humanity lives in a constant state of reaction. Something happens in the external 3D world, they experience an emotion, and then they broadcast that emotion back out, creating a continuous loop of the same reality. They are slaves to their environment. When someone insults them, they react with anger, ensuring they remain on the timeline of conflict. But a true quantum architect operates in reverse. A creator decides what frequency they want to experience first, regardless of what the external environment is showing them. If the 3D reality is showing you a person who betrayed you, the reactor gets angry. The creator, however, pauses. The creator recognizes the trap. The creator chooses to project peace and neutrality, refusing to let the external illusion dictate their internal vibration. By holding the frequency of forgiveness in the face of betrayal, you break the matrix. You short-circuit the reactive loop. You prove to the universe that your inner world is more powerful than the outer projection. This is the ultimate test of spiritual mastery, and passing it instantly elevates you to a higher dimensional plane. One of the most insidious traps of the ego is the belief that holding on to the grudge keeps you safe. Your mind whispers, "If I forgive them, I will forget what they did, and they will hurt me again. My anger is my shield." This is a massive, fatal misunderstanding of how the universe works. Anger is not a shield, it is a magnet. By holding on to the anger to protect yourself, you are vibrating at the frequency of danger and betrayal. Therefore, you must attract more danger and betrayal to justify the anger you are holding. True safety does not come from defensive resentment. True quantum safety comes from vibrating at such a high, pure frequency that low vibrational entities and toxic situations simply cannot exist in your reality. They bounce off your energy field like bugs off a windshield. When you completely forgive and elevate your consciousness to the state of unconditional love and neutrality, you become literally untouchable by the lower timelines. The people who operate on the frequency of deceit and manipulation will naturally fade out of your life because there is no longer a vibrational match. Your purity becomes your ultimate, impenetrable armor. You are a multidimensional being navigating through infinite, probable realities at every moment. You are shifting billions of times per second, moving from one static frame of reality to the next, creating the illusion of continuous time. Right now, there is a timeline where the grudge consumes you entirely, leading to illness, isolation, and bitterness. And just 1 millimeter over in the quantum field, there is a timeline where you release the heavy weight today, right now, during this video. In this new timeline, tomorrow morning you wake up feeling lighter than you have in years. Your eyes are clearer, you breathe deeper. A sudden phone call brings massive financial abundance. A chance encounter brings the soulmate you have been seeking. The only difference between these two timelines is the density of your emotional state. Grudges are dense. They are heavy, slow-moving energy that anchors you to the bottom of the quantum ocean. Forgiveness is light. It is high-frequency, rapid-moving energy that allows you to float to the surface and catch the wind of infinite possibilities. Which timeline do you choose? The choice is entirely yours, and it is made solely in the present moment. Let us dive into the actual process of quantum timeline jumping. It requires total immersion into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, combined with the absolute release of the past. Close your eyes for a moment. Bring to mind the person or the event that has caused you the most pain. See their face in your mind's eye. Now, instead of feeling the familiar rush of anger or victimization, imagine a bright, blinding white light surrounding the image. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, physically blow the image away like dust in the wind. Watch it dissolve into 1,000,000 sparkling particles of neutral energy, returning to the infinite field. Say to yourself, aloud or in your mind, I release you to your own path. I reclaim all of my energy from all time and space. I am completely free. Feel the sudden snap of the invisible cord breaking. Feel the rush of life force returning to your heart center. Do this not with strain, but with a deep, relaxed sigh of relief. You are not fighting a battle. You are simply dropping a heavy bag of rocks you have been carrying up a mountain for years. Feel the intoxicating lightness of your newly liberated spirit. It is crucial to understand that after you make this massive quantum leap, the field will likely test your resolve. This is known as the echo of the old timeline. Shortly after you decide to truly forgive and let go, you might experience a random memory of the event, or someone might mention the person's name out of the blue. You might even have a dream about them. Do not panic. This is not a sign that you have failed or that the forgiveness didn't work. This is simply the last dying gasp of the old reality. The universe is presenting you with a choice point, a test to see if you will fall back into the old reactive pattern. When the echo happens, remain completely neutral. Observe it with mild amusement. Do not engage emotionally. Think of it as an old movie playing on a television across the room. You can see it, but you don't have to turn up the volume or care about the plot. By maintaining your neutrality in the face of the echo, you seal the doors to the old timeline permanently. You prove to the quantum field that you have truly shifted, and the echo will quickly fade into total silence. As you shed these old layers, you will inevitably confront the ultimate frontier of forgiveness, forgiving yourself. Often, the deepest, most hidden grudges we hold are against our own past versions. We are angry at ourselves for trusting the wrong person, for wasting years in a toxic situation, or for not knowing better at the time. This self-resentment is the most destructive frequency of all, because you are poisoning the very source of your creative power. You must realize that the past version of you was operating perfectly based on the level of consciousness they had at that moment. They did their best with the tools they possessed. The fact that you can look back now and see the mistake proves that you have evolved. You are no longer that person. To hold a grudge against an old version of yourself is like punishing a child for not knowing how to solve advanced calculus. Wrap that past version of yourself in total compassion. Thank them for taking the damage, for surviving the fire, and for carrying you to this exact moment of profound awakening. By forgiving yourself, you unlock the final, heaviest door to your limitless quantum potential. What happens when you finally become this clear, unobstructed channel? You enter the state of flow, the highly coveted state of instant manifestation. When your energy field is free from the static of past resentments, your thoughts travel through the quantum field with zero resistance. There are no contradictory beliefs blocking the signal. You think of a desire, you feel the joy of it already being real, and because your heart is open and your mind is clear, the universe delivers it with astonishing speed. Life stops being a struggle and becomes an effortless dance of synchronicity. You no longer have to push, force, or manipulate reality. You simply state your intention, maintain your high frequency of joy and neutrality, and watch as the world miraculously rearranges itself to serve you. This is the natural state of your being. This is how you were designed to operate before the programming of the world convinced you to hold on to pain. You are a divine creator, a focal point of the universe's intelligence, designed to mold reality through the purity of your conscious observation. This is the grand culmination of your journey. You are not a human being trapped in a cold, random universe, fighting for survival against enemies and betrayals. You are the universe itself, experiencing itself from a specific point of view. The entire cosmos is contained within your mind. The quantum field is not something outside of you. It is you. Everyone you meet, every circumstance you encounter, is a mirror reflecting the deepest states of your own consciousness. When you finally understand this, truly grasp it in your bones, the concept of holding a grudge becomes a complete absurdity. Why would you ever choose to project a nightmare onto your own screen? Why would you poison your own well? Today is the day you break the cycle. Today is the day you pull the plug on the old timeline. You are stepping into a dimension of radical responsibility and infinite power. The moment you decide to forgive everyone, including yourself, you hit the reset button on the cosmos. The universe instantly rewires itself around your new, brilliant frequency of total freedom. The truth is finally clear. You are not living in reality. You are reality, constantly observing and creating itself. Holding a grudge is nothing more than your consciousness choosing to trap itself in an obsolete, painful illusion. The moment you completely forgive and let go, you do not just change your mood. You literally collapse the old timeline and step into a completely new quantum dimension where you are the absolute master of your fate. You are the creator. Your attention is the brush, and the quantum field is your canvas. Paint a masterpiece of freedom. Thank you for tuning your frequency to this transmission. If you felt the shift in your energy today, I urge you to subscribe to the channel and like this video to anchor your presence in this new timeline. To permanently seal your new reality, write this exact activation phrase in the comments below. I am the observer, creating my reality through complete forgiveness. I obey. Now, I leave you with a question to ponder. What profound synchronicities or sudden changes in your life have you noticed the moment you finally let go of an old pain? Share your experiences below, and let us build a community of conscious creators. Until next time, stay in the light, and remember, you are completely free.